Doctor Who Silver Nemesis, the seventh story of the Seventh Doctor, is written by Kevin Clarke and starring Sylvester McCoy and Sophie Aldred. The title of the story was originally going to be called either The Harbinger or Nemesis, but then eventually settled to Silver Nemesis. Kevin Clarke talked about the development of the plot on the DVD. He points out that he had seen very little of Doctor Who and that he met the production team without any idea of what his proposed story would be about. He made up a story on the spot in front of John Nathan Turner that the Doctor is literally God, though this was not realised on screen, so then Nathan Turner requested adding Cybermen to the story so it can tie in with the programme's Silver Anniversary. The permission to film at Windsor Garden was denied, so those scenes were shot in Arundel Castle. This story has a bit of a dock open where a Nazi, De Flores, was about to shoot a poor parrot with an arrow, but luckily he was distracted. Meanwhile, the Doctor and Ace watches the Courtney Pine and the band perform, which is fun. And there's a brilliant action where they outrun men with guns.
Who are they?
Couldn't see.
It was unfortunate for the Doctor and Ace where they fell into the lake. As they eventually got in the TARDIS, the Doctor got Ace a new tape deck, replacing the one that was destroyed by Imperial Dalek. And apparently it can do more than play tapes, as the picture of Earth appears. In Windsor, 1638, mathematician works out the date of Nemesis to return to Earth. The Doctor launched a statue of Lady Painford into space, so then Lady Painford and Richard have time travelled to 1988 due to the silver arrow from the statue and the use of black magic. I love the bit where the Doctor and Ace tried on the fez. Wait till you're Matt Smith, Doctor. As they got to Courtyard, Doctor and Ace discovered Queen Elizabeth II, which is cool.
It's all right, Ace. I know that woman from somewhere. What? Why didn't you say something?
You wouldn't let me.
Also, Nicholas Courtney, the Brigadier, appeared as an extra in that scene. Don't believe me? Google it yourself. So later on, as they're confronted by De Flores, over the statue and Silver Arrow, the spacecraft landed, which saved them, but it turned out to be Cybermen, which is a great cliffhanger.
What are they?
Cybermen.
Cyber Leader obviously recognised the Doctor, and there's a great battle scene. Both Doctor and De Flores recognise the gold arrow, which is what Cybermen are allergic to. Meanwhile, there's a crazy scene where Lady Painford and Richard are confronted by two muggers, and the two muggers are later tied up upside down, half naked. The Doctor explains that Validium was created on Gallifrey by Omega and Rassilon and should have stayed there. De Flores makes a deal with Cyber Leader that if Lady Painford and Richard are killed, in return, they could both share the control of Earth. Plus Painford shows Richard his grave, which is so bizarre. Sylvester McCoy is fantastic as the Seventh Doctor. He does get better and better. I love Sophie Aldred as Ace. She's definitely badass. One of my favourite classic era companions. David Banks and Mark Hardy as Cyber Leader and Cyber Lieutenant are so iconic. Fiona Walker plays Lady Painford, Cavalier of Windsor in 1638. She's also a sorceress and a poisoner. She gives off great performance. Apparently Penelope Wilton, Harriet Jones, she was considered for the role. Gerard Murphy plays Richard Maynard, who serves Lady Painford. I really like him, he's great too. Alan Armstrong and Simon Callow were considered for the role. Anton Diffring plays Hans de Flores, who was a Nazi. He's a great villain. Harry Andrews, Bernard Archard, Peter Cushing, Frank Finlay, Robert Fleming, Michael Gough, Charles Gray, Christopher Lee, Herbert Lom, Donald Pleasance, and Peter Vaughan were considered for the role. Mette Yinel plays Carl, who works for De Flores, he's great too. Leslie French plays a mathematician who works for Lady Painford. He does a great job with his performance. Dolores Gray plays Mrs. Remington, who's also called Lavina P. Havensack. According to another source, she is a wealthy American woman who travelled to England to learn more about her ancestors. I really like her. I'll get to that scene later. And apparently in unreleased scene in part 3, which appeared on the extended BBC video release of Silver Nemesis, where it shows Mrs. Remington take a photo of the leaving Nemesis. The role was originally a man named Milton P. Remington. John Nathan Turner hoped to interest Larry Hagman in the role, having been put in touch with Hagman's representatives by Kate O'Mara. When this didn't pan out, the role was rewritten as a woman, and Dolores Gray took the role. And it's pretty cool to see Courtney Pine in Doctor Who with the fun jazzy music. Kevin Clarke wrote him in the story because he was a fan of his work, and Pine, who was a fan of the show, agreed and got his band to appear alongside him. Martin Reed is great as security guard, who's in charge of protecting Windsor Castle. Chris Sherring and Simon Laws play skinheads, the thugs that try to mug Lady Painford and Richard. They gave off great performance. The casts are fantastic. The sets and music by Kev McCulloch are brilliant, and so is Chris Clough's direction. The moving statue looks pretty effective. Ace uses Nitro 9 to blow up the cyber ship. The Doctor and Ace sat down and discovered cyber warship above the Earth on the scanner, which is intense.
What are they?
Cyber warships.
It is said in DVD documentary, scenes were filmed in woodland area around Arundel Castle, notably the climax of Part 2. The Great Storm of 1987 damaged the trees and caused them to fall to the ground, which resulted widespread damage throughout southern England.
It's difficult to estimate the full cost of the damage, but with people being advised to stay at home, the cost of business will also be high. The final bill could well run into millions of pounds.
The Doctor decides to activate Validium by taking the boat to the crypt, so Ace tags along. The Flores realises he's been used and negotiate with Cyber Leader. The Cybermen were ordered to kill him, so then he threw gold dust and got away. And I love the scene where Lady Painford and Richard gets a lift from Mrs. Remington as they hitchhiked, talking about the history of her ancestors. It's a fun scene. Ace versus Cybermen is a blast to watch. Just like the Daleks, she gets revenge on Cybermen. That scene was filmed on the sites that later became the Millennium Dome, now the O2. Eventually, Lady Painford came and inserted herself inside a statue and launched herself in space, destroying all cyber warships.
This is impossible.
After she threatened to reveal the Doctor's real name.
Have you never wondered where he came from? Who he is?
Nobody knows who the Doctor is.
Except me.
The Cyber Leader was about to kill the Doctor, so Richard grabbed an arrow that strikes the TARDIS and killed the leader. In the end, the Doctor and Ace drops him back off at 1638. The Doctor and Ace plays chess, and I love the ending where Richard and a Stuart woman played a song. Ace asked the Doctor who he is, but he shushed her.
Professor? Doctor? Who are you?
Some good stuff in there. What did you think of Silver Nemesis? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.